The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
The Abercrombie Kids Summer Sale is in full swing, with up to 50% off select styles for the season. Summer plans, vacation, and camp days are all covered, with new dresses, shorts, tees, and swim. Abercrombie Kids has the summer staples they need and the looks that they want to wear. Shop in-store, online, or in the app. Offer applies to select styles as indicated. Discount applied at checkout online.
This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit TemptationsTreats.com to learn more.
Have you heard about Hyphenly from Immigrantly Media? It's a curated roundup of books, articles, music, podcasts, and other interesting things we think you'll love, delivered straight to your inbox. Subscribe to Hyphenly. The link to the newsletter is in the show notes. And now to today's episode. It's June 2025, the Formula One Canadian Grand Prix. Lando Norris, a driver for the McLaren team, revs his engine, kicking the car into high gear. The vehicle shoots across the track, an orange streak, inching up toward teammate Oscar Piastri.
Is there an opportunity for Lando Norris? Thinking about it to the inside, Lando Norris!
He looks for an opening, a chance to slip by his teammate and move into fourth place. But Piastri is driving defensively, boxing him out, and Norris just can't seem to find a way through.
Piastri and Norris separated by nothing to 200 miles per hour. Norris inching clear, late on the brakes for Piastri.
The stadium looks on as the two battle it out, practically side by side. All the while, the team radio remains quiet. As per usual, the McLaren managers have opted to sit back and let their star drivers duke it out. They will not interfere. Lap 67. The cars zoom through the final turn, Norris still ever so slightly behind his teammate. As they pull around the bend, he finally spots it, a small opening to the left of Piastri. It'll be tight, no doubt, but an opportunity nonetheless. It's now or never. In an instant, Norris shoots up to Piastri's left, putting pedal to the metal in a desperate effort to break through. But wait, he seems to have miscalculated. The opening is too small.
Oh, he's ripped off the front wing! The McLarens collide! Lando Norris into the wall and out of the race!
Norris finds himself smashed between Piastri and the track wall, his front wing and right front wheel colliding with the back of the rival McLaren. He smashes into the wall, his front wing dropping onto the track as he comes to a grinding halt.
I think he's got to accept that's an error of judgment in the heat of the battle.
Yeah, I think it is.
Piastri zooms past, his car undamaged. The frustration in Norris's voice is clear as he comes on the team radio.
Are you all right, dude?
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's all my bad. All my fault. Unlucky. Sorry. Stupid for me.
Norris has just broken McLaren's #1 rule. Don't make contact with your teammate. How could McLaren let an incident like this happen? And shouldn't they have done something? Hi everyone, it's Kavitha Davidson, and welcome to another episode of Sportly. Each week, we discuss lesser-known sports history, iconic events, notable athletes, and impactful moments on and off the field. Moments that, all too often, fall to the sidelines of history. Last October, we gave you a primer on Formula One racing ahead of the Austin Grand Prix in the episode called Surviving the Drive. Today, we'll be taking a deep dive into driver management in F1. The world's most prestigious international motor racing competition, Formula One, or F1, has become increasingly popular across the globe since its introduction in 1950. Drivers compete for the esteemed F1 Drivers' Championship, while the teams fight for the Constructors' Championship based on overall team performance. But as we'll see, there are various approaches to the competition, particularly when it comes to how a team chooses to manage their drivers on the track. And within the F1 community, some strategies remain, well, controversial. So today, we'll unpack what different types of driver management look like and how they may impact the competition, leading to controversial moments like that of Norris's recent crash at the most recent 2025 Canadian Grand Prix. So when we say driver management, what do we really mean? Here, we're referring primarily to the way that F1 teams oversee and instruct their drivers. Now, this can include anything from how active the team management is in the decisions of the race to the overarching strategic approaches they choose to employ. One of the biggest tools of F1 driver management is a team order. This is essentially an instruction given by a team to their drivers regarding strategy. Team orders are often given in the middle of a race over the team radio. They can include anything from telling a driver to allow a fellow teammate to pass to instructing them to hold their position behind a fellow driver. In short, they allow teams to decide at any given moment which of their two drivers should take the lead. Now, this isn't a new phenomenon. In fact, team orders have been around since the 1950s. The first ever team order was given at the 1951 French Grand Prix, when Juan Manuel Fangio and Luigi Fagioli were ordered to swap cars mid-race.
Fagioli, driving with great determination, complete the 100 rounds of the
That's
course.
right, they swapped vehicles in the middle of the race. While physical car swaps like that aren't allowed anymore, the incident introduced team orders into the F1 equation. There have been a number of controversial team orders throughout the sport's history. Many of these moments have sparked disagreement and debate surrounding the use of this strategic tool. There's one moment in particular that stands out. It's 2002. 22 cars race around the Red Bull Ring track in Spielberg, Austria, for the annual Austrian Grand Prix. Leading the pack is Ferrari driver Rubens Barrichello. Behind him is teammate Michael Schumacher. Barrichello is dominating, leading 69 of the first 70 laps. Revving his engine, he begins his 71st and final lap of the race. Victory is so close, he can practically taste it. But as Barrichello prepares to take the final turn, the radio crackles to life. It's the Ferrari team, and they have a request. After 70 powerful laps of dominance, Ferrari wants Barrichello to let his teammate Schumacher pass. They're worried about his world championship points, and they want to make sure he has enough. And so, after an hour and a half of consistently fighting to maintain his lead, on the final turn of the race, Barrichello lets Schumacher pass for the win.
Oh, he's getting very close to Michael Schumacher, but Rubens Barrichello comes through. He's not going to let Michael through, is he? No, they're going to... Yes, he is! I do not believe it! I do not, Adam and Eve, what is going on? Michael Schumacher wins the Austrian Grand Prix. He doesn't deserve to win it. That is outrageous.
Oh, I'm gobsmacked, absolutely gobsmacked. That is not possible, and I can't believe it's even allowed.
The crowd is not happy. A cacophony of boos rings through the stadium as the men take the podium. The drivers look sheepish, embarrassed. Aware of his faulty win, Schumacher pushes Barrichello onto the top step of the podium, giving him his due. The message is clear. Barrichello should have won.
They can push him up onto the top step of the podium, but he can't affect the result. Michael Schumacher has won this Grand Prix.
Ferrari is quick to defend its decision, confidently sticking to its guns. As technical director Ross Brawn explains in a post-race interview,
in the interest of Ferrari and the Drivers' Championship, we've made the decision.
But it was fair and square, wasn't it? He beaten Michael in a fair fight.
Well, you say fair, we're told the driver not to race each other, so how can that be a fair fight? The team controlled the race, the whole race.
But for Ferrari, it was more important for Michael to get the 10 points.
Absolutely, yes.
But that's not good enough for the International Automobile Federation. They soon fined Ferrari for failing to follow the podium ceremony rules. More importantly, they establish a complete ban on F1 team orders, now seen as a manipulation of the competition. But over the next few years, teams find subtle ways of giving coded team orders, working around the ban. They do so by way of observatory remarks that signify particular instructions. During the 2010 German Grand Prix, Ferrari famously tells Felipe Massa, quote, "Fernando is faster than you." What they meant was, let Fernando pass you.
Fernando managed to get past you. Did you make a mistake? Was it underbraking?
He passed me.
And then Rob Smedley said, "Good lad, sorry."
Yeah.
Did you feel that you weren't allowed to win that race today?
No, the only thing I feel is that we're working for the team, and we're doing a very good job, for the team, and that's the most important thing.
The IAF eventually realized that there is simply no way around team orders, and in 2011, they officially lifted the ban. Team orders have now become somewhat commonplace. But when exactly are these orders used, and why do some teams appear to use them more frequently than others? Well, these orders are often used within teams in which one driver holds clear priority over the other. As a result, the second driver is frequently asked to remain behind their teammate, told to let them pass, told to slow down, told not to challenge driver number one's position. Here, driver number one must always come first. Conversely, some other teams choose to step back and allow their drivers to compete with one another, battling out for the number one slot on the team. This is often the case within teams that happen to have two very skilled, equally matched drivers. These teams tend to give fewer team orders, allowing the competition to play out naturally. But at a certain point in the season, even these types of teams may begin to prioritize one driver ever so slightly, based upon their record. So, which teams use which strategy? Well, let's begin first with a look at McLaren Racing. Based in Surrey, England, McLaren is one of the oldest and most successful teams in F1 history. Since entering the sport in 1966, the team has won 12 drivers and 9 constructors' championships. As CEO Zak Brown adamantly told Formula One in 2024, the team has, quote, always believed in having 2 number ones. In other words, they don't give one driver priority over the other, allowing both to compete for the number one spot. And that's always been McLaren's way. The team is governed primarily by what are known as papaya rules. Put simply, drivers are welcome to partake in fierce, healthy competition against one another as long as they race cleanly and respectfully, avoiding unnecessary risks or contact. In other words, don't take out one another on the track. As we mentioned at the start, this is McLaren's number one rule: no contact with teammates. Armed with Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, this season McLaren has 2 fast drivers and, some argue, the best car on the grid. Perhaps now more than ever, the team intends to let the two duke it out. Let them race, Brown told the Associated Press this past May. He insists that he won't designate a number one or issue any team orders until one driver has clearly separated himself in the title race. In this way, McLaren appears to fall on the side of a minimal interference approach when it comes to team orders. They often choose to give their drivers high levels of autonomy and let the competition play out naturally. While genuine competition and driver autonomy are good, McLaren's failure to issue team orders has, at times, backfired. Think back to our opening segment on the recent Norris crash at the Canadian Grand Prix. As Norris and Piastri raced toward the finish line, McLaren's strategy team sat back and allowed the situation to play out. Had the team given clear instructions on who should remain in front, the crash likely could have been avoided.
Lando Norris into the wall and out of the race. Right to turn 10 we go. Lando Norris.
Since 2021, Red Bull driver Max Verstappen has taken F1 by storm. Verstappen closed the 2023 season with his third consecutive Drivers' Championship. And heading into 2024, Norris was his closest rival, the only driver with even the slightest hope of challenging the seemingly unstoppable champion. However, for much of the season, McLaren refused to give Norris priority, harming his chances of taking down Verstappen. At the Hungarian Grand Prix in July, McLaren insisted that Norris hand the lead back to teammate Piastri, allowing him to log his first F1 win of the season.
Lando, he can't catch you up. You've proved your point, and it really doesn't matter, mate. We did the stop sequence in this order for the good of the team. Okay? I'm trying to protect you, mate. I promise, I'm trying to protect you.
Frustrated with the order, Norris was hesitant to obey.
The way to win a championship is not by yourself, it's with the team. You're going to need Oscar, and you're going to need the team. Please do it now.
After a brief argument with the team over the radio, Norris begrudgingly complied. The Italian Grand Prix the following September would have been the perfect opportunity for him to close the point gap. And yet, McLaren once again sat back and allowed their two-star drivers to go head-to-head, neglecting to give priority to Norris. It did not end well. Mid-race, Piastri made an aggressive move around Norris, pushing him from first to third place and ultimately costing both cars the win. So much for closing the gap. After weeks of public criticism, McLaren finally decided to use team orders to support Norris's fight for the title, but it was too little, too late. At the end of the season, Verstappen secured his fourth straight Drivers' Championship, finishing 53 points ahead of Norris.
Max Verstappen, for the first time ever, is champion of the world.
Red Bull Racing has a decidedly different strategy. Based in Milton Keynes, England, Red Bull first established itself as an independent F1 team in 2005 after taking over Jaguar Racing. Considering their late entry into the sport, the team holds an impressive number of wins, with a total of 8 drivers and 6 constructors' championships. Half of Red Bull's drivers' championships can be attributed to one man, Max Verstappen.
The championship leader on the attack. Here we go with Max Verstappen. Wasn't even a contest.
Needless to say, unlike McLaren, Red Bull is dominated by one driver. Given Verstappen's immense talent and notable success, Red Bull places absolute priority on him, frequently giving team orders to his respective teammates to remain behind him. This approach began to take hold in 2022, when then teammate Sergio Perez was asked not to defend from Verstappen in both the Spain and Azerbaijan Grand Prix. They seem to be saying, forget about your own game. Make way for the star.
Okay, back him up. Let's hold into 12 if you need. Back him up through here.
This Verstappen-centered strategy has only continued in recent years. By the 2024 season, Red Bull made it clear to Perez that he would be playing a solely supportive role to the champion. And in the 2025 season, that strategy extends to Liam Lawson and his replacement, Yuki Tsunoda. Tsunoda also now serves primarily to support Verstappen, allowed only to get as close as possible, but never to pass. While he was initially reassured that he wouldn't always have to cede to Verstappen, the reality appears to suggest otherwise. Tsunoda was visibly unhappy after he was ordered to let Verstappen pass in the Monaco Grand Prix qualifier. "It's so unfair, honestly," he said over the radio. "I knew that it was going to happen like this. I knew it. But it's worth questioning the effect that Red Bull's strategy has on the careers of drivers like Tsunoda as they're forced to cool their heels behind the star player." This is where these differences in strategic approach become controversial. Unsurprisingly, as we've seen, team orders aren't always appreciated by drivers. In fact, sometimes they go so far as to blatantly ignore instructions, refusing to let their teammate by. At the 2010 Turkish Grand Prix, Max Webber ignored an order to slow down as his teammate Sebastian Vettel came up from behind, resulting in an unfortunate collision.
Oh, dear, they've come together! Webber and Vettel have come together. That's Vettel going out, Webber going out. What was going on there?
But for drivers like Tsunoda, who's driving next to a man considered by Red Bull to be, quote, the most valuable asset in F1, ignoring orders might be a path to unemployment. The controversy doesn't end there. While some within the F1 fan base view team orders as a legitimate and necessary strategic approach, others see them as a dishonest manipulation of the competition, skewing the results. After all, fans pay to see drivers compete in a genuine test of speed and skill. Many don't want to see drivers winning by default merely because their teammates are being instructed to let them pass. So where does this leave us? Between McLaren and Red Bull, which strategic approach should F1 teams be using? On the one hand, it may be argued that McLaren's minimal interference approach is best, allowing drivers to genuinely compete with one another based on their merits alone. This gives up-and-coming drivers a chance to prove themselves unimpeded. But in reality, there may be strategic, financial, and physical downsides to this approach. For one, with this strategy, there's evidently a higher risk of crashes, like Norris's misstep in Canada. In recent years, there's been significant decline in serious crashes, and many believe that team orders are the reason for this. McLaren's approach may also prevent beneficial strategic play that serves to better advance the team's collective success. After all, without Red Bull's laser-focused prioritization of Verstappen, they may not be as successful as they are today. So we're left with a conundrum, one that Formula One will likely continue to grapple with for years to come. Thanks so much for tuning into Sportly. Tune in next week and every week after as we dive into another great story. And if you have thoughts or suggestions for a topic you'd like me to cover, I'd love to hear from you. Please feel free to email me at kavitha@immigrantlypod.com. And if typing a long email isn't your thing, record and attach a voice memo to your email. Sportly is an Immigrantly media production. This episode was produced by Sadia Khan, written by Emmanuel Monahan. Our sound designer and editor is Paroma Chakravarti. Our theme music was created by Simon Hutchinson. Other music by Epidemic Sound. Tune back in next week and every week after for more Sportly.